What's up, everybody? I've been asked to do this video quite a bit. I felt a little discouraged to do it because Dark Dimension 6 felt so far away, but then like yesterday it just dawned on me, I'm in the global section already. I've beat the unrestricted. I'm I'm just a few mystic pieces away from being able to do cosmic, so I'm like, oh, I'm nearly half done as far as the requirements go. So it made sense to do a video. I'm not going to stream or upload the videos of the Dark Dimension hits every single day because I'm just not in the sort of rush other people seem to be. I don't find it to be interesting content, especially in the first two sections. Now, the unrestricted section, here's a little bit of footage for that. We'll play that while we do this little talk here. It just wasn't hard. I went in there with Apocalypse, Weaver, Val, Kestrel, and Agent Venom. Agent Venom did nothing. I didn't expect him to. It was basically the Apocalypse and Val show, which was great. I three-shot both nodes, I believe. Yeah, I three-shot both nodes. And it's true what they said. Weaver is just okay. Like, when Mobile Gamer and Taco had that conversation, like, Weaver's just okay. She did give me a lot of good value inside the unrestricted, but that's because the supporting characters of Val and Kestrel were really kind of propping her up a little bit too. Apocalypse is definitely stealing the show. He's just annihilating people, which is great. I finished the unrestricted section. It took me about a week, and then I was able to bring in Dark Beast and Iron Fist. I'm now in the global section, and it's painful. It's very painful. It's the Apocalypse show. The first wave of the first node had a Weaver in it, and because my Apocalypse didn't die to finish the unrestricted section, he didn't have his ultimate heading into that node, so it sucked. The second hit, however, I cleared half the first wave, which is where I'm sitting at now, and I'm fine with that. By the time I finish global, I might have been ready for cosmic for a few days, but even that I kind of doubt. I think that by the time I slog through global, I'll be just finally getting ready for cosmic. That's kind of my mentality with Dark Dimension 6. I'm just bringing characters that I'm getting used outside of Dark Dimension 6. Like, I'm never going to build a Dark Dimension 6 character just for Dark Dimension 6. That makes no sense to me. Like, I'm never going to build Pim Tech for Dark Dimension 6. So, yeah, I'll try and do like a little refresher video every time I finish a section. So right now we're in global. My current global team is painful, but I'm going to slog through it, and I don't mind. I got the Apocalypse. I think he's a no-brainer. If you're not going to go with Apocalypse, I think it's a big mistake. Even if you don't have the Awakened Apocalypse, I think he's still worth Gear Tier 18. You're eventually going to get the Awakened Apocalypse. I would hope. He's game-changing. It's just worth it. It's just worth it. He's useful in 3 sections. In fact, if you don't have Apocalypse unlocked and you're looking at Dark Dimension 6, stop it. Go unlock Apocalypse first. Do that first. Weaver's doing okay. When she comes in charge, it's kind of helpful. We're just kind of zoning in, letting Apocalypse ult kill somebody, and then that'll be it for the day. Agent Venom, Dark Beast, and Iron Fist, they're just useful outside. Like, they're all 3 braid characters, right? Agent Venom make it useful in War against Young Avengers. He's one-shotting one of them. Dark Beast, he's useful in every mode with Death Seed. I chose him over Nemesis because Nemesis gets benched in a few matchups, and I think a few we're going to see in Crucible this season. So he gets benched out there as well. Whoops, I just took him off. If we were to look, he does cost the exact same as Nemesis. They both cost 3. So I could see bringing Nemesis instead because he'll be more useful in Dark Dimension 6 with the percentile damage. It didn't feel like enough for me. But yeah, I'm using him elsewhere. Iron Fist is trash. You're not going to use him in Crucible, not yet anyway. We'll see if a room eventually pops up for that. In War, he's maybe on defense, but otherwise, like, it's really rough. Does he help the skill section? Sure, but the skill section is, I don't know, it's trouble. You can go through the skill section with like 5-star characters instead of like a 7 red star Gear Tier 18 Orson. You don't need that, so it didn't really add much, but anyway, let's talk about my future plans. So for Cosmic, I already have Val and Kestrel done. Kang is now 1 piece away. I'm 100% bringing Kang, obviously. I'm 100% bringing Photon. Newest character costs 2 bio pieces. MVP in War with A-Force, making them like a top 3 offensive team. And she's going to be part of the arena team. And I don't know if she's going to be replaceable in the arena team, being that she gives 30% damage. I guess we'll have to wait and see when you have Super Skrull. That's when you'll find out, right? Because Apocalypse is, of course, going to replace Doctor Strange, and maybe Super Skrull replaces Photon or Robbie Reyes. I don't know which, because you already have AoE trauma with Apocalypse, so why keep Reyes? I don't know. That's a question we'll have to answer at another day, but 30% damage in arena kind of makes her a no-brainer to me and the War stuff, so bring in Photon. And then I have Infinity War Thor. Infinity War Thor, what can I say? He's the second most important person on the Nowhere team, and Nowhere team is going to be used to unlock Black Cat, so I don't hate the idea of bringing him to Gear Tier 18. That's about it. They're not great in Crucible unless you're putting the full team on defense, which in my opinion is not a strong defensive team. And in War, it's kind of the Nova show. If you're doing giant punch-ups, then yeah, his power is definitely relevant. But if you are bringing him to Gear Tier 18, I find it hard to believe you're doing giant punch-ups if you're at that sort of position in the game. Maybe, though. I don't know. So I think he's a good candidate. He does cost the Mystic gear, which I don't love. But I'm kind of avoiding Mystic characters later anyway. So I don't hate the idea of bringing him. I did play around with bringing Star-Lord Annihilation here instead. Star-Lord Annihilation would be, I guess, the fourth best person on the Nowhere team. So he would kind of do what Thor is going to do for me, except worse outside of Dark Dimension 6. So it's like, okay, we'll bring Thor. For now, anyway. We'll see what happens with city characters in the near future. Because I do think this is going to get shifted up. So Kamala Khan is a no-brainer. She's definitely going to be in the arena meta. She's definitely in the war meta. And she will definitely be in the Cosmic Crucible meta. So she's a no-brainer. She only costs 3 mutant pieces. And she is mutant, which I'm avoiding a little bit in the legendary section. So I like bringing her. Same reason for Firestar. Firestar only costs 2 mutant pieces. I love her in Crucible. She's okay in War. She would probably be the second character I sub out of this list, depending on new characters introduced. I do think we're going to get a very interesting team next patch. No, the patch after next patch. Spider-Man 2099. He's cheap. He goes good with Weaver. They're the new Icarus Cersei combo. Not much more to say than that. He's fast. On the opening turn, he can put defense down out there, and then it's going to take him like 40,000 turns to get it back up. I don't know. He's just because he's cheap. I don't know. He's cheap, and I like using him elsewhere. It'd be easy to replace him if we had a different, cheaper character that was similarly used. Robbie Reyes, this is one I'm unsure of. He does cost 3 Mystic pieces. I think he gets subbed out of the arena team. I really do think Photon stays on the arena team, and Reyes gets subbed out, and then Reyes doesn't have the same sort of wordplay. But I could be wrong, and again, you won't know that until you get Super Skrull. So I don't hate the idea of bringing him. At the very worst, then I would have the 4-piece Secret Defender team all at Gear Tier 18, because you know I'm bringing Black Cat. And that would be amazing in War or Crucible or wherever the case may be. Like, amazing Crucible, I guess, because Photon would be A-Force in War. But that'll be amazing in Crucible. The 3-piece with Photon over on A-Force will still be amazing in War. Subbing them with maybe someone like Apocalypse, you throw them on defense, something crazy like that. I can see them being super impactful. So I really like the idea of having a big Reyes. And his stats are crazy. So I like that. Spider-Man Big Time. Okay, this is a little hypocritical, because I did get into a fight with a Twitch viewer and friend, Amel. So if you're watching this, Amel, alright, listen. Here's the thing. I have a big Spider-Man Big Time. I have him at Gear Tier 17 already. I have him at 4 Red Star, 4 Yellow Star. By the time I reach City, I'm going to have him at 5 Yellow, 5 Red, if not 6 Yellow, depending on how long it takes me to get through Cosmic. At those star levels, I can see him being very useful, and hopefully him and the Infestation team at that point are 100% pulling the Nowhere team and not just pulling the Tangled Web Kang team that I made up when we started learning about the Infestation team. Because it's not a good enough pull. You want your Infestation to pull Nowhere. Hopefully that'll be the case. That's why I'm bringing him to Gear Tier 18. You want your big-time Spider-Man to be able to one-shot characters such as Hawkeye, Yo-Yo, Daredevil, Morbius. Like, you need him to be able to one-shot those type of characters, and if not, that Kang Tangled Web team is simply always going to walk over it. So that's kind of why he's here, but, and here's where we get into a little bit of speculation, I'm fairly certain we're getting a Goblin City Tech Raid team. You see, I love my raid characters. If we do get a City Goblin Tech Raid team, there might be a non-legendary City Tech character like Hobgoblin or Scorpion or somebody like that I'll really want to bring in here instead, especially if they're as good as Death Seed was in other modes. That's huge speculation on that front, right? So Big Time would probably be the first person kicked off this list, because I don't think there's anything you can do to Infestation to make the Kang Tangled Web team not work, especially if people are doing like me and bringing their Tangled Web and their Kang to Dark Dimension 6. It goes further and further from reality. He would be the first person kicked out, not only because he's tech, but also because he's unuseful in like Crucible and stuff. I guess we'll try and find use for him, but I don't know. Second character to get kicked out would be Firestar. But that would lead me to the legendary section. There's only 3 legendaries I'm set on bringing. Omega Red, Nova, Black Cat. She costs 3 skill pieces. She's skilled. It's no-brainer. Omega Red, percentile damage, turn me to rewind. Amazing character. Great plug and play. Same with Nova. they just make sense to bring. Every other legendary character is just trash. Barring any sort of rework that we have no idea about yet, they're all bad. So Phoenix, Invisible Woman, they're the cheapest, but they're bad. If I had to, and if I had those 3 other legendaries ready and I was just waiting and I ended up with 3 pieces, I'd probably bring Phoenix in just because of the percentile damage, and maybe I can get use out of her in other teams. No, I don't think she ever would. That's the problem. I don't think she'd ever get any other play outside of that. And same thing with Jubilee. Same thing with Magneto. Magneto doesn't need gear tier 18. He doesn't do any damage on his opening attack with Death Seed, so I just don't see the value in bringing him to gear tier 18 at all. At all. Mutant just feels like an absolute waste. And then Star-Lord doesn't need it, kit based. Nothing you can do to Star-Lord makes him survive the tech nodes anyway. Same with Shuri, like she doesn't need it. She gives energy on spawn. She's on the Wakanda team. It just kind of is what it is. Jubilee's completely out of the meta. Ebony Maw's completely out of the meta. The rework is not going to bring him in the meta. Black Bolt completely out of the meta, would need a rework. That's one I could see happening eventually. Like I'd love to see an Inhuman Cosmic Crucible team, which I think we'll eventually get. But I don't know. Adam Warlock, good character. Really good character. 4-piece Mystic. Out of this list, currently, he's definitely the one I would be eyeballing to bring in. Like I said, I'd probably get those 3 characters, the Nova, the Black Cat, and the Omega Red ready, and I would just sit and let pieces pile up, and eventually once I hit the Adam Warlock level, I'd just be like, frick it, I'm bringing Adam Warlock in. And then we have these 4, and they are full cost characters. Fury being skill, if I built up to 90 skill pieces before I built up to these, yeah, I bring Fury in. I think he's an amazing character. I don't think he needs the gear. I don't think he's going to be terribly useful in Dark Dimension 6, but I'd still bring him because he's great in raids and in Crucible, using his special on spawn. It's such a waste. It'd be really tough. Magneto, we talked about that. Just really bad opening attack. Iron Man, completely trash. He might as well just transfer himself into a trash bin and go away. And then Doc Ock. And here's where I think the speculation comes in heavy. Doc Ock, I think, is going to get a rework. There's been so many hints towards this. The skin, not a very big hint. Them changing how he stands with that skin, fixing the animation behind it, that's a big hint. Them tweaking his kit, that's a big hint. Okay, and I do think that the Sinister Six team, in particular Doc Ock, is going to get that Death Seed style rework. So I think the next legendary will be the Tech Raid Team legendary. I think it's going to be Green Goblin Glider or Hobgoblin or maybe even Scorpion. It'll be one of those 3. I think any of those 3 fits. So I think that tech character is a no-brainer. I'll bring that character in. And I think it'll be a rework on the Doc Ock. And then that'll be a tough one, because if we are bringing in, say it's another 3-piece tech legendary, and then to bring in a 5-piece tech legendary to go with him, that's a lot of tech gear, in which case I might want to sub off Spider-Man big time if I haven't done it already, and throw in like Cloak, a Mystic, because we don't have any Mystic in this section, right? So that's kind of what I would do. So the 3 at that point would be Omega Red, Nova, Black Cat, whatever the new legendary is, and hopefully a reworked legendary. I think both of those will be tech. I really do. I think both of those characters will be tech at that point. And then for the legendary or Apocalypse team, and you can bring Horseman in here too, you just kick off the worst legendary. Which if say it was Doc Ock, you'd kick off Doc Ock. You'd kick off Doc Ock, you bring Omega Red, and it would be the same as sections 1 and 2. And you would just go like that. So the moral of the story for me, anyway, has been Apocalypse is great. Weaver's okay. Don't put pieces on characters ahead of time. Wait for reworks, because we already had the arena characters come in that shook up everything. Like, look, I'm bringing 3 of them, 4 of them. I'm bringing Black Cat too. So just wait for your sections until you're like, oh, I can go in today if I equip this. Unless you're in that position and there's no patch in sight, then go for it. Otherwise, don't build ahead. Like, there's no. If I had enough tech gear to bring Kang up right now, and enough tech gear to bring up Spider-Man big time, and enough tech gear to bring up Doc Ock right now, I wouldn't do big time and I wouldn't do Doc Ock. I would sit on that tech gear and wait. And then I'd probably try and make them work with City on the new City characters if there's City tech characters coming up. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Dark Dimension 6. That's where I'm currently at right now. I hope you found this video a little bit informative. If not, maybe just kind of reinforcing what your own thoughts were, because I think most people are at the same spot. We're all waiting to see new characters. We're all going to be bringing in a lot of these arena characters because they're arena characters and they're going to be good everywhere. And yeah, that's it. Have a good day.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.